Hi there. This is not usually how I start things off on this channel. Like, probably what a lot of you relate to is night times are, for me, the time where I come alive and my mind can think clearly. My mind has been thinking very, very clearly tonight. And I just needed to film. And it's midnight right now on a Thursday. And hi. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Elena and I was diagnosed with autism 3 years ago at age 25. I've had a YouTube channel named Classic Splendor that you may know of. That was kind of like me, my persona before the diagnosis, and what I found from that was a love of filmmaking and creating something that made someone walk away feeling exactly what I want them to understand about my emotions, because I don't think I'm the very best at conveying them through my words. All of a sudden, on a Thursday night in April, at midnight, I decided I need to take up filmmaking again. But I guess the biggest thing that I want from this video is authenticity, not getting things right, not looking the best dressed, really conveying the autistic experience from an unemployed 20-something-year-old. Because shit, that feels good to like find somebody that understands you, right? Like, I love that, and I would love for someone to just like stumble across me and go, shit, like I relate to this like random Kiwi girl online. So I'm going to be documenting my week, I guess, the highs and the lows. We're starting off on a fucking Thursday night at midnight. Hope you enjoy. The full mess today. You guys are about to see some sights of me. Shit. Fuck, I've got to stop my phone.
Time, 59 minutes, 36 seconds. Distance, 8.49 kilometers.
Holy moly. 8.5 kilometer run. For anyone who's an overthinker like myself, running has been the only thing to absolutely exhaust me to the point that I can't think about anything else other than my heart stopping through exertion. Today, can that airplane just, let me just shut that window. I told you guys yesterday, this video is not meant to be perfect. You're gonna get all the things I cut out in my normal videos. It's gonna take my head off, but let's not do that. We need some dignity on the internet. Today is quite a full-on day. Shit, my lips taste like salt. Today is actually a year since I lost my boy Gus, and that thought is both as miraculous and devastating in equal amounts. So that's why I got up and chose to run as hard as I did. I don't know about you guys, but Grief is an emotion that I haven't experienced too often in my life, which, man, I'm very lucky in saying that. But I certainly understood the emotion when I lost Gus. It was awful. It was more confronting than I ever anticipated it to be. I collapsed through the emotions for probably 10 days, and then my mind went numb. And I've never had that happen before, and it's only in recent months that that numbness has worn off. I think grief feels awful for everybody, and I don't know too much about how grief is processed through an autistic brain, but I imagine it's a very sensory based experience where you're more aware of stimuli and sights and sounds around you, and it all just gets probably too much. Those are just some thoughts today. I've got a lot. I've got therapy today. Probably a fucking good thing. I'm going out for a drink tonight, actually, as it happens. I'm socializing, raising a couple of glasses to Gus. Am I in a socializing mood today? Yeah, actually I am. It's not always bedridden introversion. Sometimes I need to laugh out loud and not be heard because the music is so loud. Anyway, I don't even know what this is. Why do their knees bend backwards? I've just been getting ready to go out and socialise. While I've been getting ready, I've been listening to this podcast about autism. A comedian, a Scottish comedian called Fern Brady, and I'm going to link it down below for you guys. It's hugely enlightening and helpful to anyone who's just been fucked off with the world when it comes to autism. It's done by the Imperfects, and they're an Australian group. My therapist actually recommended this to me. Saturday night, and it's absolutely pouring with rain and has been all day, and I haven't done much. I had this really interesting encounter last night, and it reminded me, it was kind of like clockwork, like the universe was reminding me as to why I do the things I do and upload the things that I do online. I had this interaction with this guy, and he was talking about this person he knows, and he was referring to him as, you know, on the spectrum, but we're not allowed to use that word anymore, or that saying anymore. And he certainly didn't say anything bad, but the way that he spoke about this individual was that he was really an alien, that he thought in black and white, and he made decisions that were just weird, and he spoke really rude, and this always got him into really weird situations. But the funny thing is that he's really good with the ladies. Like, how crazy is that? And I just sat there like so smug, you know. It was funny, the friend that I was with was kind of like giving me the side eye, like waiting for me to attack him like a pit bull, but I didn't, and I didn't correct him, and I didn't say anything, because the fact of the matter is he was drunk, and there's nothing to say to somebody like that. Just gotta stick to your own lane, I guess. He'll learn if he wants to learn, he won't if he won't, and you can try and correct people's judgment, but I don't get up to much mostly on the weekends. I spend a lot of time in my room on weekends and watching TV shows. I know that sounds incredibly sad to some people, but I find it restoring, to be quite honest. You know, my most favourite part of the weekend is Saturday nights, because it's the time that I really take to myself, complete isolation. I take THC oil, which I am unsure whether I want to kind of talk about that, because everybody has different opinions about that, but for me, I find great value in it. I build a lot of my ideas and understandings of myself on it, and it is helpful, but I don't need to talk about that because, you know, someone's going to argue that or for or against it. But just sharing what I do, I just be with myself is probably the biggest thing. The weekends are a time, the night times are a time for me to be with myself. I'm going to go be with myself. I don't know if that sounds really weird, kind of dirty sounding. But it's the truth. See you Monday morning. I don't know if this is strictly an autism experience. Right now I'm parked up at a place that holds a lot of really, really bad memories for me. When I lived in this area, it was a really, really awful time in my life. To come back here is a very overwhelming experience, and I was just noticing myself getting like overwhelmed, and I thought it was by other things, but I feel like my body just immediately gets uncomfortable. And like, this isn't, you know, I'm sure this is just a human thing. I don't know. What I was getting worked up about before was, like, while I was driving here, there was a person behind me and they were following the road rules but then not following some. And I just kind of got confused, like, what the fuck's the point in having road rules if you follow some and then not others? To me, that just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I know that that is like a very black and white way of thinking, like you either do or you don't. There's no like middle ground. I just got really confused by that and by people, and that then, I'm just like talking about my thought processes right now. Maybe some of you will find it valuable, but that then got me thinking as to what to say when people ask me. There's either two reactions that people have when I tell them that I'm autistic. It's either, oh, you don't look autistic, or it's, what's that? With both answers, I never know what to say. For me, it's like, it's easier for me to answer as to like where autism doesn't impact my life, because it impacts the very nature of how I am. My entire brain is built and wired differently, but I don't know how to say how. I've been doing some thinking, and I really wanted to like condense down for maybe some of you who like aren't diagnosed but maybe can relate to my story, and like, I don't know, I'm just trying to help people understand themselves. So I thought I would like put together this list that my experience consists of, basically, and maybe you guys can relate. The biggest thing that's always been there is that I'm an incredibly deep thinker, and I see things at multiple levels. I'm able to analyze my own thinking process and almost have this like third eye perspective. There's like layers to my thinking. Further on from that, I've always analyzed the meaning of life, trying to form some kind of understanding around my existence and what the purpose is. I don't take things for granted, and I certainly make everything complex. Nothing is ever simple. I've got to go to the supermarket shortly. Today is the day that I go to the supermarket. It never differs, and I go to the same one because it's very quiet in there, but it's still overwhelming. I take my AirPods in, noise cancelling headphones. I've got a whole structure, you know, but even when I've got the whole structure, it's still complex. It's still a hard task. Still have to have some time to just like stop for a little bit. I'm very naive. I'm very trusting and honest and speak with intent. I wouldn't say that I'm a good communicator, but the words that I speak hold a lot of value and truth for me. I guess I expect the same of others. I assume that everyone else is doing that, and so I'm very susceptible to manipulation. I've always felt misplaced, and like no matter how much I try and learn the language of human beings, for 28 years I've been learning it, and it does not come naturally to me. I can fit in, I can look like I'm doing the right things, I can drive, I can hold down whatever I need to hold down, but does it come naturally to me? Is it easy for me? Fuck no. Fuck no. There's a huge feeling of isolation and a me versus them mentality that's always been there as long as I've had consciousness of myself. I am somebody that survives hard times. I get lost in my own thinking, and I find that I escape a lot in my head. Despite my head being the thing that causes me a lot of grief, it's also the thing that helps soothe me by getting lost in special interests, obsessions, new topics, songs, music. It allows me to not think about what's going on. Definitely someone that has found a lot of safety in TV shows and movies and often imitate the characters that I form a connection with. I'm a big organizer and find a lot of mental peace with a clean space, and subsequently if I don't have a clean space and don't have things organized, it can lead me to a breakdown. I am somebody that does things by extremes, and I'm either here as happy as possibly can be, overjoyed, can't even imagine feeling sad ever again, to depression, sadness, can't get out of bed, can't even imagine what it's like to be happy, believe that life is going to be terrible, and think about, you know, a way to end it all, basically. I would love to learn more emotional regulation. There's always a sense of like, who am I? I'm always wondering, who am I? What is expected of me? Everywhere I go, even driving, what's expected of me? Am I meant to not follow the rules just like everybody else? Am I meant to go the speed limit when everyone gets annoyed at me for going the speed limit? Like, I'm just so confused all the time. Like, what do you want from me? I want the right and wrong. I'm searching for the right and wrong answers always. My friendships have always been really black and white for me as well. You know, if someone does something wrong, I'm like, see you later, bye. And I can look really cutthroat. Oh, it's so hot in here. I can often spill too much information to strangers just because they ask me a question and I'm telling them the truth. Like, I don't know where the line is with how much you share and how much you don't. I've been told that I can come across controlling, and I've questioned narcissism. I've been told by therapists that I'm neither of those things and the intentions are misguided. I think that I'm extremely mechanical in my interactions with people, and I'm always trying to carry out the correct behavior, the right amount of eye contact, the right amount of like, yeah, I see. More often than not, I can get lost in what we're actually saying because I'm like too focused on like, okay, so I say that and then they'll say that. I think that I've trained myself to be extremely aware of socializing. I think overall what I'm trying to say is just everything is processed, everything is thought about. And so when people ask me like, what does it mean to have autism? I think what it means, just that communication, socialization, existing, there's always this extra layer of thinking behind it all. There's not a natural way of existing. Sometimes being told autism is your superpower can feel really exhausting to hear, because a lot of the time it doesn't feel like that. I hope that this like helps one of you out with just describing I hope I've described what you feel is what I'm trying to say. I'm overwhelmed right now because I'm like really hot. But anyway, that's what I've got to share today. Looking insane right now just because it's been a very, very long day. I wanted to talk about being unemployed because that is a very, very common experience within the autism world and the autism community, and it's not about not having the capability to work. It's not about not having the brains to work. I've been struggling with burnout from the previous job that I was in. If you want to know more about that and why I dealt with that, I will leave a link to the video down below explaining why. But I am slowly building up my confidence with employment again, trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. I've had the space, I've had the means to, you know, take some time off of work. I started this week volunteering at a breast cancer foundation support group where I live, which has been very special, and it's something that I wanted to jump on here and really recommend to those of you who are unemployed and struggle to find the confidence. Because today I worked with like 3 people, probably double my age, well over double my age, and I just felt so safe. I had my own little corner putting together the things I needed to put together in the sun, and they smelt nice and they were just all quiet, and I thought, like, here these guys believe in me, they trust me. And I met these people, you know, in the last few days, and the one that I met today like gave me a hug goodbye, and you know, that was so special. And I realized that it was something that I just had to really talk about very briefly, to just say, if you struggle with like the confidence within the workplace, like try your hand at volunteering, because it has made such a difference for me in the last 2 days. I've only done it for 2 days now. I just felt so seen by people that know more about life than I do, and you know, I'm able to live my life, drive a car, go to the gym, have my friendships, have my time to myself. It just takes me a lot longer, a lot more at the end of the day to process, and that's the part of autism that I hope I've shown you within this week. I can't believe it's been a week of documenting my life, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and thank you so much for joining me in this week. There's so much more content that I want to make, and I hope that I've just spoken to somebody out there. If you guys related to this content and you would like to see more neurodivergent content, I make a shit ton, so I will leave my social media links down below. Thank you so much for watching. I look like a little baldy, don't I? Look like a little boy. Anyway, thank you for watching. I love you so much. Bye. That was lame.